What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we're hearing that finally President Joe Biden made a request for more stimulus. This is your Build Back Better and stimulus check update. Now, this occurred yesterday. As I'll let you know, yesterday live, we heard President Biden touting his Build Back Better plan, saying that they were going to get it done. They needed to do this. It would help combat inflation. And we also heard him discuss Ukraine and Russia. I shared that with you in my previous video. But in addition to that, he is calling upon lawmakers, Congress, to provide an additional $30 billion in funding to help combat the pandemic at this time. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but there's a lot of people saying they are very concerned with inflation at this time as we are seeing a 40-year high. And a lot of people are saying that this is due to stimulus, that all of the money being pumped into the economy is causing us to devalue our money. Prices are increasing. We've got supply chain issues. And they're saying this is probably something that we should not be doing right now. Now, let me know your thoughts, you guys, but also today we're hearing Republican GOP leaders from Congress come out and they're saying, President Joe Biden, you're requesting more. You get an F for your rating as president. And I'm going to share with you the video footage, and they're saying he is completely out of touch with what is going on. Now, let me know your thoughts, because we also heard from the president, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, and other progressives, and they said, no, we are revising the Build Back Better bill to make it so that way it will not add to debt. It will not add to inflation. As a matter of fact, it is going to be combating that, bringing inflation and debt down, especially, they said, over the course of 10 years and an additional 10 years. They're saying they're writing it in a way that it will help bring taxes in that will combat that. Now, let me know your thoughts. We're hearing conflicting messages here. Now, the original version of the Build Back Better bill, we had heard from the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, that they scored it saying it was going to be adding to debt substantially if the provisions were carried out over the course of 10 years. Now, we will see, because they're working a way to modify it. Now, in addition to that, also, we've heard there's a leftover $800 billion, 800 billion left over from previous stimulus packages, totally untouched. It was sent out and it has not been allocated for anything specifically. And a lot of people are saying, why don't you use that for direct payments to people, stimulus checks? That is enough for two $1,400 checks, a fourth and a fifth, to go out on a federal level to everyone in the entire nation. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But you guys, let's dive into the latest, get you caught up on President Joe Biden calling for more stimulus. And let's start off by smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Just takes a second. Really helps out my channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, I'll keep you up to date totally free. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. You can come join the Ram fam. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. And first, let's start off with what GOP leaders are saying today, just moments ago, about President Joe Biden calling for more stimulus in the face of a 40-year high of inflation. Take a look.
Well, Joe Biden is the president of high prices, and one of the defining failures of the Biden presidency is going to be inflation. We're now at a 40-year high of inflation, and interestingly enough, Joe Biden's approval rating has dropped to a historic low of only 40%. 40-year high inflation, 40% approval rating. Because people are feeling the pain, paying the price every time they go to the grocery store, every time they go to the gas pump. It's $1 a gallon more for gas now than it was when Joe Biden became president. Month after month after month, prices continue to go up. Wages aren't going up in a way they can keep up with the prices that are going up. So people are falling further and further behind, and they're feeling squeezed. It's happening to working families all across the country. The numbers are it's cost about $275 more this year, each month, $275 more each month, just to try to keep up with the standard of living that they were at a year ago. So people are having to change the way they drive, they shop, they eat, they live. People are having to tap into savings if they have savings. As a result, people's dreams are being crushed. The cost of energy is really affecting people, additionally, not just from driving, but also from heating their homes. And who gets hurt there the most? Well, people living on a fixed income, people struggling to get by. It's gotten to the point where a national poll by Harvard-Harris found that only 3 in 10 Americans approve of the way that Joe Biden is handling inflation. Only 3 in 10. That means just about every Republican, every independent, and a whole lot of Democrats aren't happy with the way Joe Biden is handling inflation. And what's his suggestion? Well, he said it again yesterday in a speech. It's going back to this Build Back Better plan with higher taxes, more expenses, more debt, more government spending. That will make inflation worse. When Americans see Joe Biden speaking, they see somebody who is out of touch and in way over his head. And unfortunately, the American people are paying for this president's incompetence.
Man, so there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with the Republican perspective that we need to hit the brakes on more spending because inflation is at an all-time high and we need to do something to combat this because it's hurting America across the nation, across the board with gas prices, food prices, and things like that? Or do you feel like, no, we're in the middle of this pandemic. We need to send out more direct payments, more stimulus provisions to help out people at this time because we still got to get through this pandemic issue? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, you guys, but we're seeing articles coming out like this. Take a look. Just yesterday, inflation hits a new 40-year high in January. The latest increase comes as the Fed prepares to raise interest rates to combat rising inflation. And yes, we're hearing interest rates are going to continue to increase so that way we can slow inflation down. And the article very briefly says inflation surged 7.5% annually in January, surpassing the previous 40-year high set in December and marking the highest annual inflation rate since February of 1982 when it was 7.6%. So you guys, we have not had inflation increasing this fast in over 40 years. So it looks like we got to do something, and we have Republican lawmakers saying don't pass Build Back Better because it's going to add to inflation, and we have Democratic lawmakers saying pass Build Back Better because it's going to help combat inflation. Well, yesterday, you guys, we had President Joe Biden also coming out and asking for more spending to help combat the pandemic. And take a look, you guys, link in the description below. White House seeks an additional $30 billion in pandemic funding. And the article says that the Biden administration has informed key lawmakers that it will likely need $30 billion in supplemental funding, additional money to continue to fight against the pandemic, a source familiar with the matter said. Top officials with the Department of Health and Human Services laid out the need for lawmakers on Tuesday, according to sources whose request anonymity to discuss privately the conversations. Now, the funding would go towards vaccines, treatments, testing, and other pandemic preparedness measures. Now, we had heard President Joe Biden say this before. We had heard lawmakers say they wanted to provide additional stimulus funding for businesses, and he said for battling the pandemic for these items right here. And we still have people requesting direct payments to people. Now, we will see, because typically what we've seen with these stimulus packages is phases roll out. And before, we had seen some for unemployment, some for businesses, and then following, we saw direct payments for people. Now, we will see. I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. And it says the HHS leaders regularly engage with Congress about pandemic resources, and in a Tuesday conversation with the congressional staff, HHS discussed the status of the pandemic response funds, as well as the need for additional resources to support securing more life-saving treatments and vaccines, sustaining testing capabilities, and investing in research and development of next-generation vaccines. These resources would help us continue expanding the tools that the country needs to stay ahead of the virus and help us move toward the time when the pandemic will not disrupt our daily lives, the spokesperson said. Now, the White House officials have said the administration still has sufficient funds to carry out its pandemic response, but had indicated more funding may be necessary in the future. So we will see. They're calling upon them for an additional $30 billion. Now, as you know, right now things are finally starting to subside with this current wave that we received from the Omicron variant. However, a lot of people are concerned that we might see these modified, mutated subversions of the Omicron variant hit, and we might see another wave as well. Some are saying that they think that we might be finally coming to an end of this pandemic. Now, either way, whatever unfolds, I'll keep you up to date here on the channel and let you know what's happening. Now, in addition to that, I've let you know that state, city, and counties are releasing their own stimulus packages, and in many cases, stimulus checks as well for low-income families, for low-income individuals, a lot of different ones going out to those that might be eligible or meet certain requirements. I will keep you up to date here on the channel. We're getting new ones popping up, it seems like almost every other day. And like I said, I'll let you know about them as soon as I hear. And also, you guys, there's things unfolding right now with Ukraine and Russia. We're waiting to see if that situation is going to de-escalate or if things are going to ramp up. I'll let you know here on the channel. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.